When General Motors didn't find much success with the Aveo, it decided to replace it in India. Not with a new generation though, but a different car. The made-for-China Sail hatch and sedan. This car sits just below the global Aveo or Sonic family, and unlike China, where both are available by the way, in India, all we were getting was the no-frills car. The Sail hatch came first late last year. GM had a golden opportunity to price the car well below the popular Maruti Suzuki Swift, but frittered that away by trying to position the Sail Yuva as a premium hatch. But with the sedan, the company has wised up.
It didn't quite happen with the Sail Yuva hatchback, but with the sedan, GM seems to have played it fairly smart. It's a reasonably smart package overall. The car is priced smart, and for sure, you've got to look at the car in terms of styling, also smart. So what's the missing link? Well, there doesn't seem to be a missing link really, but before we move on, I also want to make a quick point about the car's commercial on television. Also smart because you see the child sitting in the back seat, so full marks to GM for that. But that's not what we're going to discuss on the program today. The sedan seems to have the right attributes to take on the market, but it's a stiff market because the rivals here are pretty strong. So now it's time to bring in the rivals that this car needs to take on in the market. The two most formidable products in an array of many cars that are on offer are indeed the Toyota Etios and then the bestseller, the Maruti Suzuki Swift Dzire.
And yes, before you can say it, we know that there are others like the Ford Classic, Mahindra Verito and the Tata Indigo in the fray too. But we've got the two best sellers that the Sail needs to compete with here with us today.
Now, if this was a beauty pageant, then this car would sail well past its rivals. Sharp looks, very good proportions, and nice bold face up front. Clearly the winner in the looks department.
The Swift Dzire is also contemporary, but looks disproportionate. And the Etios is the ugly duckling in this group.
For color, materials and the overall layout of the cabin, the Swift Dzire is by far the nicest of the three, but it misses out on a few little crucial points. The biggest one being the fact that it's not as spacious as the other two cars, and it doesn't have Bluetooth telephony, something that a lot of buyers now appreciate. However, you do get steering mounted controls and a much nicer dash layout overall. Now, the plastics on this car have not been appreciated at all by the market, but in terms of space and what it does for comfort of its occupants, well, that's something that gets big points. The back seat is pretty comfortable, it's spacious, and you know what, a lot of buyers do like to sit back here, and they also like a lot of boot space. The Etios scores on both those points.
Now we want to quickly add here that we have it on good authority that both the Etios and Etios Leva are undergoing a major interior facelift. So, on the cabin, the Etios is expected to get stronger still. The Sail, though, has Bluetooth phone and iPod connectivity too. The Sail and Etios have good boot space, while the Swift Dzire's boot can only just about be called one. A quick refresher on the engine specs, and remember, we are looking at the diesels only today. The Etios has the largest engine of this lot, but it isn't the highest in terms of power or torque. The unit is responsive though, and ample. On the Swift Dzire, you get what Maruti calls DDIS, but in effect is the Fiat Multijet, tuned to offer 73.5 bhp, and I have to say it's very well tuned. It's the same engine pretty much on the Sail, but it's mated to a good gearbox and is tuned to offer a shade higher output.
Now we're comparing the diesels over here, and the Etios has a very ample engine, one that comes close to knocking these two out. But I have to say that there is a certain refinement and a certain quality that comes through on that Fiat Multijet unit that powers both the Swift Desire and the Chevy Sail. And so, not just for that reason, but also for the fact that the car has a very good sense of handling, is pretty exciting to drive in that sense amongst the three. It doesn't feel light on its feet like the Swift. And so, which is why I'm going to have to say that despite the overall cabin noise that you hear of this engine, overall in terms of performance, the Chevy Sail manages to go just a little bit ahead of the other two cars.
So it's fun to drive. Who would have thought? In fact, I will say this, that if the car had more attractive instrumentation, it would have been way ahead. It's funny how on the hatch side of things, the Swift is way sportier than the Sail Yuva. The Swift Desire, though, is sportier than the Etios, though the Etios feels like a bigger car while driving it in terms of ride quality. All three cars offer petrol variants and also have dual airbags and ABS standard at the top end. And now the prices. The Etios diesel has 4 variants starting at 6,90,000 rupees and going all the way to 8,39,000 rupees. Maruti Suzuki's Swift Desire is also smartly priced, starting at just under 6 lakh rupees and going to 7.5 lakh rupees. But remember, the Swift Desire is less than 4 meters long, and so it's the only one to get the excise duty benefit, which is why the prices of the Sail were a surprise. Starting at 6,29,000 rupees, it's 4 variants going all the way to 7.5 lakh rupees. All these prices are ex-showroom Delhi. So there you go, with a compelling sticker price, a roomy cabin, a good drive and an efficient engine. Throw in the smart looks, the Sail wins this round hands down. And it would have been an even stronger winner had the cabin been nicer too. But there is fresh competition lurking as 2 more sub 4 meter cars are round the corner, the Mahindra Verito and Honda Amaze. So the action will hot up once again in a month or so.